I know a secret place where spirit speaks, a place of delight and discovery, a place of enchantment, mystery, wonder, and marvel, a place of peace and goodness, where joy and laughter rule. I call this place my creek bottom home. Come with me. My father believed there wasn't anything he couldn't move with dynamite. Of course, he was right. But for a little while, it looked like a stump was going to get the best of it. 5 to 6 feet across, and embedded in a hillside sat the biggest poplar stump in Limestone County. The roots of this stump were so massive, the wood's density so hard, that at the time, Dad's D6 Caterpillar couldn't budge it. This was just the opportunity my father had been looking for. What Dad had in mind was not 2 or 3, not even 4 or 5, but 6 holes punched under the stump. Each hole would get 5 sticks of dynamite. Dad's thinking was when the dynamite went off this time, the stump was going to go. Maybe into pieces, maybe into the next county. But the stump was going to go. And that's exactly what happened. When we're given a story, it's a gift. We receive it with our heart. And then, as a writer, we craft the story. We work with it. And we'll know when it's ready. I've written about 200 stories. I've done over 300 storytellings. If I had turned my back on what I was being given, I knew I might regret it the rest of my life. And I did not want to live a life of regret. The stump was climbing like it was jet propelled. Who knows whether the pilot saw it coming? Shooting upwards, the stump's momentum was beginning to slow, but not before catching the plane's undercarriage dead center. Upwards continued the stump, except this time with a Piper Cub sitting on top. After what seemed a remarkable period of time, the stump ran out of gas and returned to the farm. The pilot did a return also by banking a steep right and beelining it for Pryor Field, never to be seen or heard from again. It was a heck of a day. I picked up my yellow pad and I started writing. And it was only 3 paragraphs, only 1 page. But it was beautiful. And then, up at the top, I wrote the words, Creek Bottom Home. For me, Creek Bottom Home is the people, it's the places that we won't let go. And we all have a creek bottom home. I was in trouble. But how was I to know the box full of little brass casings were dynamite caps? With the resourcefulness and curiosity of a child, I emptied the box and loaded. I really did load my right front pocket with 100 dynamite caps. What makes a great story is a great beginning and a wonderful ending. I was old enough to know a couple of inches higher, and I would have exploded like a keg of dynamite. Not only would I have been blown to pieces, probably I would have taken everyone with me. That night, neither of my parents brought up what had happened that day. I just imagine they figured there wasn't anything more they could do or say that would make me want to avoid blasting caps. I had had a rough day. I specialize in 2 things, love and laughter. You just can't do one without having the other. I honor 5 things with story. I especially honor the child, and that child, I like to think, is never far away, regardless of the birthdays That child is so precious. I like to honor Creator, creation. I like to honor family and relationships, tug and pull, togetherness, love. And then I like to honor Spirit too. Spirit, that companion, the one who whispers, a language that really only the heart can understand, but the Spirit is there and it's a guide. These things I honor with story. I was standing at the cotton gin, hands to my back, holding the most beautiful midnight blue balloon. My balloon was like a big bubble. Its color, the color of a starlit sky before dawn turns night to day. Where had I gotten it? I don't remember. All I remember is that as my balloon grew, it took on properties of its own. My balloon held the night sky and hint of early dawn. My balloon's color was the color of a summer's night when stars begin to fade. Its color, the color I'd seen only one other place, the heavens. My balloon was the magic. Its beauty made it so. Holding creation so beautiful, I wanted to share with others. I had set out on my holy quest, beginning my fateful 1-mile trek down to the cotton gin in New Hope, Alabama. I wanted to know what the cotton gin was like. I stood there, my back to the gin, feeling each clang and bang and whine and thump penetrate my body. Oh. Looking away from the gin also allowed me to show off my balloon. I did this by holding the balloon to my back. I had a plan. Lost in fascination, I stood there soaking everything in when right behind me a cannon went off. Wow! What was that? At first I didn't know what had happened. Slowly it seemed like I wanted to consider every other possibility before admitting what actually had happened. I realized my balloon had exploded. Turning around, I saw 3 grown men, the audience I had chosen, squatting, resting against the building, their eyes looking downward, trying not to guffaw. They were sorry enough to burst a kid's balloon, but they weren't sorry enough to look me in the eye and laugh to my face. They weren't even able to look me in the eye. I give them credit for that. Truth is, I owe them my thanks. Because that morning is the only time in my life I've ever seen a 5-year-old make 3 grown men look sheepish. I'd love to have a life-size picture hanging on my wall, equal to the one I have hanging in my mind. This is what I hear. You make me remember. And that's holy. What you remember, what you keep in here. I am a tool, I'm a storyteller, and in telling you this story, you go to the people and the places you remember, and you get to love again. That's the importance of story, to understand the most wonderful and powerful fact there is, that we are loved, that we matter. And once we know that, we know that the next person matters. A story can make all the difference in this world.